In your morning consumer news, the State Department is creating a new bureau for disaster response and humanitarian aid. It comes months after the Trump administration eliminated U.S. aid, shifting those responsibilities to the State Department. Questions remain about staffing, funding, and when exactly the bureau will launch. Congress must be notified before it's finalized. And Ring is responding to backlash over that Super Bowl ad. The commercial showed how Ring owners can share video to help find lost dogs, but it sparked concerns about how else that AI technology could be used. Now Amazon, which owns Ring, is ending its partnership with surveillance company Flock Safety. California's wine industry is struggling. Vineyards are disappearing. Growers ripped out more than 38,000 acres of vines last year, 7% of the state's total. They say the problem is too much wine, not enough demand. Farmers say they're hopeful for a turnaround this year. And a recall on Morninga supplements sold online and on TikTok Shop. Here they are on your screen. Ambrosia Brands is pulling its Rosabella Morninga capsules due to possible salmonella. 7 people have gotten sick, 3 sent to the hospital. Check the FDA website for details. A new analysis shows nearly 90% of Trump's tariffs last year were paid by consumers and businesses, not foreign countries. Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn joins us to break down those numbers.
The analysis finds from January to August, U.S. importers bore 94% of tariff costs, importers passing most of that cost in higher prices to manufacturers and retailers, ultimately you, the consumer. While exporters began to shoulder slightly more of that by November, consumers and businesses in the U.S. remained on the hook for 86%. The Federal Reserve Bank says the Treasury Department collected $287 billion in tariffs in 2025. That's up 192% from the previous year. But the Supreme Court ruling looms. The U.S. government could owe businesses as much as $168 billion in refunds if the court says Trump exceeded his authority under emergency powers law. For taxpayers, this means 2 conflicting realities. In the short term, the government is collecting a lot of money from tariffs. In the long term, if those tariffs are ruled unlawful, taxpayers might ultimately bear the cost of large refunds, which ultimately could mean higher future taxes, more borrowing, or spending cuts. So the tax is hitting consumers twice, once at the store via higher prices and potentially again if refunds are required. And we will feel this especially in southern Wisconsin with all the local production, dairy operations, especially when you're considering things like farm equipment prices and the tariffs on steel or imported machinery. But the court is expected to make its decision soon. Legally, they have until the end of the current term, which is late spring, early summer.
That was Michelle Renee Quinn. You can wake up with her on weekend mornings.